Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today's focus is on XRP, the third largest cryptocurrency in the space based on circulating market cap. In addition to information about Ripple, the company that is closely aligned with the cryptocurrency, and we'll also be covering this content price data review of XRP, some historical information there as well, what it is in addition to its use cases, major partnerships in the space, especially in recent times, price analyses on my part, and a general market update. So moving over to the prices, based on these data here at CoinMarketCap, XRP currently sits at approximately 27 cents per token, market cap of just under 12 billion US dollars, circulating supply of 43.3 billion XRP. The total supply is just under 100 billion tokens. Historically, as we can see on the screen, not much happened between its launch back in 2013 through to the beginning of 2017. Pretty much the price remained below 1 cent for most of the time, and then it shot up. In the space of 1 year, it went from half a cent up to $3.65 or $3.70 thereabouts. It has dropped considerably since then. So that was a monumental rise that occurred during late 2017, early 2018. Since then, it has remained between about 25 and 35 cents per token for most of the time. Now, despite this, we've had plenty of good news in the space, and I'll be covering this throughout the video. But let's move on. Back to the project. So XRP, for those who don't know, it's a cryptocurrency used for gross payment settlement systems and remittances worldwide, or it's starting to be used and being adopted by more institutions. Ripple, on the other hand, as listed here on its website, a technology company that provides the most efficient solutions for sending money globally. How are these two related to each other? It is XRP and the ledger that Ripple uses in its product called XRapid, which has now been renamed to on-demand liquidity, and I'll speak about that further in the video. This is worth noting as the company has gradually tried to distance itself from the cryptocurrency. It says here it does not control the digital asset or technology. However, it does own 60 billion XRP, approximately 55 billion, which is locked up in escrow, and since writing this, about 4 to 5 billion have been sold, and I'll speak about the schedule with that as well. XRP cannot be owned by any single entity. It exists independent of any one person or business, including Ripple. Some people would be very skeptical about that claim because, as mentioned, is still the majority of tokens available overall. This makes people a bit reluctant to support XRP, but let's go through the video and then you decide towards the end how you feel about it. Who uses these two? Anyone can use XRP, build on the XRP ledger, or list it on their exchange, whereas Ripple is utilized by financial institutions. Who owns it? Anyone can own XRP, and the founders, investors, and employees who hold stock in Ripple, propping up the company there. And it is important to make this distinction because people use these two terms interchangeably. I've seen many trading platforms and exchanges and people in general bring to XRP as Ripple. Now that we have a basic understanding of these two, focusing on XRP, why is this significant? What role could this play in revolutionizing the way things are done in future? I'd like to give you some insight in terms of how big the global remittances market is and the gross payment settlement system is. Just for perspective, there's this piece here from the World Bank titled Record High Remittances Sent Globally in 2018. It's highlighting the key sections of this article here. The World Bank estimates that officially recorded annual remittance flows to low and middle income countries reached 529 billion US dollars in 2018, an increase of nearly 10% over the previous record high of 483 billion in 2017. Factoring in these money transfers from high-income countries, this figure is at 689 billion in 2018. This highlights a huge market to tap into. I've spoken about this article as well in a video about Stellar Lumens and its corresponding foundation, although that's a different topic and people have their own opinions about Stellar Lumens. Today's focus is on XRP, of course. Long story short, there is huge room for growth for this cryptocurrency, especially when we're dealing with a market cap that is a fraction of this price. Considering as well, global wealth in general is forecast to grow. So there'll be ebbs and flows. We're going to see a growing trajectory overall. Now, further information in this article, feel free to read through it, and I'll include a link to this and all the other sources that I refer to in this video in the description below. Something I have to mention before I continue, a quick disclaimer, none of this is legal, tax, and or financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please always do your own research. Let's move on. Jumping back to Ripple's site, to give you an idea in terms of the benefits of XRP, one of its key selling points is that it's fast. And from my experience, and many others will concur with this, that XRP transactions occur at a faster rate than Ethereum and Bitcoin, typically speaking. Now, I do want to mention Bitcoin, the transaction, well, in recent times, its transactions have sped up, but still behind XRP. Ethereum, I haven't dealt with that much recently, but nevertheless, a lot faster than the traditional systems that exist today. Numerous people around the world are still using. A classic example of where XRP can revolutionize the whole system with transferring money. Let's say I have 20,000 Aussie dollars. I want to transfer that money into a US bank account. At the moment, if I want to do that, with the traditional system, banks are those that come to mind, or you have other major companies as well in the space. I consider a very outdated system. 3 to 5 days, and just the whole process in checking the money to see that it's arrived, asking your friend, oh, did you get the money? And then you start worrying, and it's all extremely annoying, as you've probably experienced. Now, I know someone will point out in the comments section, I'm going to say this now, there are new companies out there that do peer-to-peer money transfers, and from my experience, I got the money within a day or two. So yes, it's faster than what's listed here, but it still took a day or two compared to what you see here on the screen with XRP and even other cryptos. Scalability, a very important aspect of cryptocurrencies in general. On the Ripple website, it claims that XRP can handle the same throughput as Visa. It will be interesting to see if it can actually live up to this claim. It can deal with a sizable number of transactions, but let's see how scalable it actually is. Distributed, so open source technology built on the principles of blockchain and with a growing set of validators. 7-year track record of stable technology and governance makes it ready for institutional and enterprise use. And the relevant data there, and more information about on-demand liquidity. Last month, back in October, Ripple announced a major rebranding of their existing services that they had, which were XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA. This was listed, and I've got an example of 2 websites listed here. I'm going to focus on the Daily HODL piece. The company's payment messaging system, XCurrent, and corporate payment API, referred to as XVIA, both adopted the name RippleNet. So RippleNet has replaced those two. Furthermore, the XRP-based cross-border payments platform, which was XRapid, is now called On-Demand Liquidity. I'm glad Ripple has made this decision because it confused many people, and myself included up until recent times, about someone using one of these platforms and then others not being discussed as much, and then people were questioning, well, if they're going to use XCurrent, does that mean it's going to benefit XRapid? Would the price and adoption of XRP increase? So on and so forth. So they've streamlined this. Ripple's core focus based on this Daily HODL piece, it wants to emphasize the company's mission to build a payment network rather than promote a suite of software solutions. There's further information in this article here on the Daily HODL. I recommend you checking that out. Making this more streamlined and simpler is important to helping increase its adoption, or one piece of a very large puzzle to get greater awareness and adoption of the product. Before I continue, what has been a major and ongoing topic of discussion, not just for XRP, but various cryptocurrencies as well, in terms of what is the legal status of this based on US securities law? Is this a security or not? Some people are saying it is, others are saying it isn't. I'm not going to delve into this in detail. Many people get fired up about whether it is or not, but the main factor, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert, based on US securities rules and laws, this thing called the Howey test is what is being used to determine whether a cryptocurrency is considered a security or not. For those not looking at the screen, a very quick summary of what the Howey test is. In order for a financial instrument to be dubbed a security and fall under the purview of the SEC, the instrument must meet these 4 criteria. It must be an investment of money with an expectation of profit in a common enterprise with the profits to be generated by a third party. Moving on to some more interesting info and more positive aspects of XRP and its usage. In this piece here from the block, and this was written a week ago, so fairly fresh off the press. Now, based on this, according to Ripple, more than 24 customers, in air quotes, using its payment solution that involves XRP. So the most notable companies utilizing this crypto include MoneyGram, VR Medicas, and FlashX. They've left out SBI. SBI is a major Japanese bank that is using XRP as well. There are several articles talking about different companies getting involved in using XRP and on-demand liquidity. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of some of the most significant partnerships in the space and recent articles about that. With SBI, there's actually this official report based on their financial results. If I just do a search for XRP, SBI Group companies are considering to give to shareholders XRP through similar schemes. And this speaks about Morningstar Japan. From my understanding, Morningstar, it involves in offering evaluation data for different types of investments. Going down this company report, it says here, promote the establishment of settlement system that utilizes affinity of company R3 and XRP is helping SBI, and this company R3 are helping to facilitate the adoption of XRP within their control. Moving on to the Middle East now, a $50 billion banking giant launches international payments with Ripple's XRP. So this is the Saudi British Bank, or SAB, I don't think it's SAB, which is the car company, and that was posted earlier this year at the end of April. Thinking of with MoneyGram, there's this article from the block that says that MoneyGram processes 10% of US-Mexico transactions via Ripple solution that uses XRP. And that was from last week, so again, fairly fresh off the press. To give you a neat visual representation of who's accepting, using, and testing XRP. So this is the information here from Stardust Crypto. As a quick side note, shout out to Dario who produced this wonderful infographic here, and he's updated it with August 29, so it's an August 2019 update. It's a fairly clear and concise summary of who's using it or who's testing it, and then information there in addition to references all down the list in a neat order. For perspective, some major companies that are using it include, so there's MoneyGram, there's R3, Western Union has tested it. They don't seem convinced yet, unlike MoneyGram, but that could change over time. And then, as mentioned, there's VR Medicas and some other companies there. These are just smaller companies. Travala, they're accepting the use of XRP and other cryptocurrencies for booking accommodation. The 12 banks listed here. Barclays and Santander, they're two of the biggest names listed there. Closer to home, I do know that NAB, Westpac and Macquarie. NAB and Westpac are two of the four biggest retail banks in Australia, and Macquarie is a huge investment bank here. Testing the use of it, early days, and I'd say a lukewarm response. Don't seem as convinced yet, but give this a year or two and these could all change. People migrating more to the using XRP aspect of it. Let's see what happens. Based on Ripple's insights, more than 300 customers are now using RippleNet. So about 24 of these are using on-demand liquidity. As time progresses and people start to see the benefits associated with XRP, its ledger, and cryptocurrencies in general, and more institutions will continue or at least begin to embrace the benefits these cryptos have in disrupting the current system. Now is the time for price analyses and an overall crypto market update to finish the video. For those who haven't seen my videos before, and I noticed quite a few new viewers, I pick a hypothetical circulating supply based on the circulating and max supply data that's displayed at the bottom of the screen there. For simplicity, I've just picked one circulating supply because it would just be overkill to go through all of these different price scenarios at different circulating supplies. Starting at the low end of the spectrum, $10 per XRP. As a reminder, we hit approximately $3.70 back in early 2018, predominantly from retail investors. Do I see us hitting $10 per XRP? Yes. When? I'm not going to give timeframes. Although what I will say is I will make an assumption based on what I think the overall crypto market cap will be. So firstly, XRP's market cap would have to hit $650 billion based on this above mentioned supply. I would say a crypto market cap overall of about 2.7 to 3 trillion US dollars. At the time of XRP's maximum or all-time high, the market cap got to approximately 850 billion US dollars overall. We've still got a long way to go, especially from 27 cents. But there's a lot of potential. In my opinion, not financial advice, of course. $50 per XRP, now we're talking about some serious returns. 180, 190x. On current prices, that's a pretty good return on investment, let's be honest. 3.25 trillion US dollars in circulating market cap. It's going to take a while. We would need to bear in mind that you'd not only need the bull market to shoot up, but you'd need it to be sustained. The price will shoot up. There will be some retracement. Look at the last major bull market. There was a huge retracement. I personally wouldn't expect this in the next year or two. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I do hold some XRP myself. For this, I would predict an overall market cap for crypto of approximately 10 or 11 trillion US dollars. By this stage, cryptocurrencies will have a stranglehold on various sectors, particularly finance and technology. $300 per XRP. Now we're getting into some serious money here. Based on my calculations, 19.5 trillion US dollars in circulating market cap for that circulating supply. That is monumental. Just for some perspective, Apple and Microsoft are currently above 1 trillion US dollars in market cap. Amazon temporarily eclipsed that figure as well. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Once you're going above $50 per XRP, it's going to become a lot harder to achieve this because you could have people that could just be bypassing the fiat system and then just using other cryptos, receiving payments and just doing transactions and all that jazz, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or anything else, whatever people fancy. And to finish up this price analysis, $589 per XRP. Let's say we'll just halve the circulating supply, because I know people are yelling. Some people watching this are probably yelling at the screen saying, you're giving a ridiculously high circulating supply, and fractions of XRP, from my understanding, do get burnt. Will get burnt over time as transactions occur. So let's halve this number. We're still looking at 16 trillion US dollars. For the purpose of this video, we'll maintain this circulating supply, 65 billion, 32.285 trillion US dollars market cap. That's a very long shot. Let's be realistic. You can say whatever you want, but I call a spade a spade. Personally, as I've invested in XRP, I would love for it to hit this. How realistic am I about it? Not so much. People have had their own analyses on this, and I know people will disagree. Let's see what happens. I'm expecting interesting feedback in the comments section. What do you think about all of this? And again, for the last one or for the last two, feel free to halve the circulating supplies and you're still dealing with huge amounts of liquidity required. To wrap up, let's have a quick overview of the crypto market in general. Bitcoin's price is just below $8,800 per coin. Despite the major increase in price towards the end of October, the 30 to 35% increase that occurred in the space of a couple of days has tapered off. It's still showing some resistance at about the 8,800 level. There are commentators and analysts that believe the price will dip again. Moving on, Ethereum's at about $186. Chainlink's doing really well, $3, shooting back up again despite a lot of the cryptos dropping and kind of stagnating over the past 7 days. Well done to you if you're making a bit of a profit from that. Others, IOTA, 26 cents. Dash at $70. VeChain also doing fairly well. I could go on, but the information is here. There's CoinMarketCap, there's Live Coin Watch, and there's Nomics that I came across, and various sites out there. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know this is a long video, but there is a vast amount of content to cover for the third largest cryptocurrency out there. And as a quick side note, it has overtaken Ethereum on a few occasions over the past 12 to 18 months. So that'll be interesting to see when XRP jumps back in a second, and could it usurp Bitcoin? And that would be an exciting prospect. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest content. And don't forget to smash the bell icon as well. If you have something to say, or you just want to say g'day, well, leave your feedback in the comments section and share this with anyone who you believe will benefit from this information. I hope you're all having a wonderful day or evening. I'll chat to you soon, and take it easy.